Hello, Swindon Town fans. We are back for another conversation, and this time it is actually a conversation because, my God, what a week it has been. So much good news around and so much to discuss, and I'm pleased to say that most of the members of the panel are here to discuss it with me. So first of all, he's ditched the hat that he had prior to hitting record, but good evening, Ned.
Hey, here it is.
There it is. We also have Warren with us today.
Evening.
Mr. Ever-Present Adam sends his apologies, but there was an all-you-can-eat Chinese he couldn't avoid. But he is here in spirit, thanks to Craig. How are you, pal?
Good, thanks, mate. Yeah, Adam's here in spirit. I feel like he's with us always.
Fresh from what appears to be the ultimate stag do of all time, Rich is probably here more in spirit than in body as well. How are you, pal?
Wow, could be better, mate. But we'll fight on through today, mate. We'll fight on through it.
And never one to miss a positive conversation with the rest of the panel. Ben is also here. Evening.
Evening, Stephen. All good?
All very good. Thank you very much. There's a lot to cover, really, isn't there, guys? So Ned, I'll bring you all in on the first point, but Ned, I'll come to you first. We got the news we'd all been waiting for ahead of the Supermarine friendly. It all came out, and then there was would Clem be there? Would he not? He was. He was taking pictures with all sorts of fans, with all sorts of hats and smiles, and everyone was happy. And then this very fan-centric, fan-central statement came out confirming he was the new owner.
Oh, mate, it's just crazy, isn't it? It's just, you know, we've had nothing for such a long time, and everyone's like, oh my God, it's never gonna happen. And then, you know, I put a little message up last time about staying positive, it's gonna happen. Boom, happens. Was it the next day? Boom. Yep. So you're welcome.
What was your reaction, can I ask, when the news broke?
Well, I was working at the time. I work for Thames Water, and I speak to people who are in debt, shall we say, and I'm trying to get them to pay their money. And I'm just thinking, I can't possibly have a conversation with anyone right now, because I mean, I was bouncing off the walls. You know, if I had to leave a voicemail, I'd be like, don't worry about it. We got a new owner, go on. Oh, mate, honestly, it's just such good news, isn't it? And oh, wow, I didn't believe it at first, because, you know, it come out on a few platforms, didn't it, and a few little people who you don't know whether to believe or not. But yeah, it just filtered out through the day, didn't it? It was just absolutely insane. What do you guys think? What happened to you guys?
Yeah, I was going to say, Warren, how about you? It's going to be one of them things that everyone remembers sort of where they were and what they were doing. So where were you and what were you doing?
Well, I was just sat at work, and then I just saw this statement come up that was shared on Facebook through the website. And it's like one of the first times that it's ever come out on the website first rather than somewhere else, if you see what I mean. Because we've never had that with Lee Power, have we? Do you know what I mean? It's always been a rumour who's talked to someone else, and then it's come out through, but it come out on the website. And I just remember reading the statement from Clem, and it was like a breath of fresh air, wasn't it? It was just like giving us a clear vision of how he was going to take us forward, and whether you agree or disagree with how he's going to do it, everyone just feels a whole lot better because we've got rid and we've got a fresh start and like that.
Yeah, no, and I mentioned at the start there, it was very sort of fan centralized, Craig, and there was a lot in there for us to sort of read, digest, and there was just a sudden lift. You could see in everyone's reactions on Twitter, on Facebook, talking to people, the messages in our group. Everyone just seemed so positive as soon as that statement came out.
Yeah, absolutely, Steve. I mean, for me, initially when it happened, there was just a big sense of relief. And then, you know, everything happening. But then everything happened at 100 miles an hour. All these statements, appointments happening. You know, everything that's been put on hold for the last few months, all of a sudden, you know, things are starting to be put in motion, and you know, it was just great. And we're seeing, you know, Clem was at the Supermarine game, and people having his photos taken with him, and there's him wearing the same hat that Ned's got on now, and you know, he's really interacting with the fans. The only little concern I have, not to be too negative, is that sort of closeness with the fans is all well and good when it's going well, but then when it starts to sour, that could cause problems. That's exactly what happened with Mike Ashley. If you remember, when he first took over Newcastle, he was in the stands with them, with the Newcastle fans in the pubs and stuff like that. Not that he's going to be anything like Mike Ashley, I don't think, but it's just, you know, maybe have a little bit more distance. But I mean, other than that, you know, it was really great. It was just so much good news. The things he was saying as well, you know, words like, you know, he's the custodian of the club, which that means a lot for me. You know, it's him saying that, yeah, I'm the owner, technically I'm the owner, but I'm just looking after the club. There's been owners before me, and there'll be many owners after me. I'm the custodian. I'm just here. I'm holding on to the keys for now, and then someone else will take over in the future. And, like, you know, things like, you know, appointing Rob Angus as well as CEO. I think that was a masterstroke by him to get that on board. I tweeted at the time, I don't think an owner, as in a private owner coming in, has appointed a member of the supporters trust as a CEO. You know, apart from maybe it's supporter-owned clubs. But I've never known that to happen, and it's a very progressive thing to do. And it was a really good move by Clem.
And Rich, if we can focus on some of the specific points made in the statement from Clem. He made 3 promises, of which I'll offer up the first one for you for your input if I can. His first promise to the fans is he will not take money out of the club. I don't anyone else can hear Rich at the minute.
Yeah, that's okay. Sorry. Hopefully he's true to his word, really. That's all we can hope. I mean, it's a difficult one because, you know, what are we to believe? Like, do you know what I mean? But I'm a massive Clem fan, you know. I think everything that he said so far has been absolutely spot on. And I hope he sticks to his word, and I have no doubt about it that he will. And you know what? Those words are refreshing. To hear that, I mean, no other owner has ever said that. And why would you say it? Like, do you know what I mean? Why would you say something like that? And not, I know there's absolute arseholes in the world that will say anything to get the attention, but look, he's an experienced business owner. He runs a $200 million company in Australia, and the best thing about it is he drives a freaking Lamborghini. Just rocks up to the counting ground in a Lamborghini. I mean, yeah, that for me, that was class. That was classic. That absolutely loved that. But I remember when I found the news out about because it came out on BBC Wiltshire Sport. And I had to check the Twitter handle to make sure if it wasn't the fake BBC Wiltshire. And I was absolutely buzzing. Absolutely buzzing.
The eagle-eyed amongst the viewers would have seen during the conversation, Christian's logged in to join us as well. Good evening, pal.
Hi there, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
What you should have done then, following on from that, when he said people who talk a load of shit just to get attention, you should have said, talking of which, you missed a cracking link there, mate.
I would not like to create such a link about one of my regular and respected panelists, mainly because I know the people that do watch it like to create that own link for themselves. So but if I can bring you in on the second promise he made in his statement, he does not want to be an aloof owner. He wants to be here as much as he physically can and is allowed to be. Is his presence crucial, do you think?
It's not crucial if he's got, and this is the big mistake Power made. It's not crucial if you've got the right CEO and management team in place. You could potentially go 12 months without seeing Clem, but if the club is being managed as it should be by the CNO, somebody with the, of the Nick Watkins or even going back Mark Devlin, that kind of character, you even forget we've got an owner when that's the case. And when Lee Power hopefully does look back and think, what could I have done better during my tenure?
Everything.
The one biggest mistake he made was not have, well, yeah, that's not the biggest mistake he made, but for his own, the PR disaster which eventually forced him out would be not having the right people underneath him. So yeah, great if Clem needs to be in the country all the time, needs to be watching the town. But God knows why he'd want to be honest with you. I've flown to Australia once, absolutely fucking hated the flight. I wouldn't want to come back every week to watch Swindon Town play, put it that way.
I don't think Clem sleeps. I actually don't think that guy physically sleeps.
Well, your relationship with him, I know he's met Football Phil and Matt Walker, and if you know that about him, that's great, mate. But
just going back to the earlier point you made was about me missing the opportunity for a link. So I will put you up on one thing. You've just said you wouldn't fly back from Australia to watch Swindon, and the masses of people watching this will say it's because you're a Cheltenham fan.
Yeah, I wouldn't drive from the road, mate. I'm looking forward to going back, mate. I'm looking forward to going back this year. I am. Positivity.
Good. Ben, let me bring you in on promise number 3. He will provide financial transparency. He said the club are in a situation which we're all aware of. He said he fully expects to find stuff he probably didn't even know about, which we'd all probably expect. But his intention is to be as open and honest as possible with the fans, so we all know what's going on, and he intends to sort of put his money where his mouth is and get it sorted.
Well, these are big words, especially for a club like Swindon and where we've been. I don't remember the last owner we've had that's just been promised just such transparency. So far, he's done nothing to disbelieve him. In fact, by employing a trust member in Robert Angus to be CEO and someone who's the assistant chair of the trust, then you believe what he says is going to be true. He's going to be hard not to be quite honest, because you'd think Rob would pull him up if he didn't. So yeah, it's fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and exactly what this club needs. Fans just need to be communicated with, and if times are tough and we're selling players for a certain reason, then we need to know why and how why we're in this position that we're in, and just it's just good to know, so we know where we stand. So it's great, it's good.
Absolutely, and a few of you have mentioned during your individual segments there, but if we look at it's early doors, let's try not to get carried away. But the positive side of it is he seems to have come in and made a positive impression on a large section of the fan base. When you see the pictures of him doing 6-a-side the day after he took over, you've got pictures with various fans. He's, as was alluded to earlier, he's wearing the hats that Ned's wearing, and even in what was a really positive and enthusiastic statement, there was even a bit of almost comedy shithousery when you consider what we were with previously. And he just throws in stuff like, I don't need to take the money out because I've got a company that turns over $200 million a year. And I took that purely on comedic value. We had Poundland Power, and now we've got this guy coming in almost bragging about the money his company makes. I'm presuming you're all sat here at the moment feeling really positive about him as a person and his intentions moving forward?
100%. Absolutely 100%.
The thing with football, though, it's such a... Well, you're saying all the right things now, but if we start the season it's a results business, isn't it, football at the end of the day? And if we start losing a lot of games and we're down the bottom end of the table, and this goes for any fans, not just us, it can change, can't it? And if we start losing games and we're sat near the bottom of League Two, because we have some really fickle fans that believe that we're just going to, now we've got a new owner, that we're going to be at the top end of the league and it's all going to be rosy. If we start off not great, it's going to be interesting to see if people stick by it and carry on what he's trying to put in place.
But again, I don't think that comes down to Clem. I think, I mean, obviously, as long as something that Christian alluded to as well, if it's managed the right way, like with the CEO and the owner, and results aren't going our way, then we would expect the change. So hopefully,
I love the younger player vision and everything like that he said. My only concern with it is that sometimes it can be perceived as the cheap option, can't it? And I can understand where all the money's going to be going on stuff that he doesn't know about, and he's coming into the club and he's going to put a lot of sum of money up straight away. But League Two is no hiding place, is it, for young players? Do you know what I mean? It's a tough league.
And we don't, the last thing we want is for us to get knocked out of the football league.
Oh, 100%. And this is why it's a rebuilding job, isn't it? So
yeah.
Let's bring Christian in, because we are doing this one on speaker view today. So he's kindly putting his hand up to make a point. So let's bring Christian back in at this stage.
Mute.
Well, he's muted and hasn't realised he's muted.
Muted.
He's still muted.
Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, I'm just trying to be polite. I think I probably speak for the majority of Town fans, as I have for 10 years or so. when I say, I think what we expect, and I think we haven't got a varying range of expectations this year. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, probably what most of us would be expecting.
Dramatic pause.
Is to start the season really, really quite poorly. Be sat at the bottom five, and then see progression and probably end up about mid-table, possibly getting into the top half. I think we'd all be happy enough with that. Dropping out the league would be a disaster. That can't happen. But we did have a little bit more time to do it last season. They had to get a new squad in very late. And it took them a while to gel. They were around the bottom of the table for a long time, and then they managed to scrape through at the end in third place. Not saying we're going to go up, not saying we're going to hit the playoffs, but we expect to start really poorly with the squad we've got. Yeah. And if we can get to mid-table, I'll be happy.
Well, let's.
I was just going to say, I think one thing we can't do as fans this year is panic.
Well, just to give you guys a heads up, the very last
panic for, though, is there?
the very last thing I've put on the agenda here is to ask you all, as we sit here now, what is success this season? So I'll give you a chance to think about that. That's the very last question that we're going to end on tonight. But let's talk about the team that is in place. So shortly after the official statements came out, we then heard we've got Ben Chorley back in a director of football role. Ben Garner's in as head coach. He's then brought in Scott Marshall and Scott Lindsay as his assistant coaches. And as you've all alluded to, Rob Angus also appointed to CEO. Are we happy with the core backroom sort of staff that's been put in place early doors?
Yeah, I think it's good to have an actual structure in place with clearly defined roles. Going back to what Christian was saying about the appointments that Power was making, he'd appoint someone like Tim Sherwood, who is director of football, but his actual duties, it wasn't clearly defined. And he obviously, he stepped on Luke Williams's toes a bit. And we've had this sort of, there's been no clear direction, and there's been no actual structure within the club. Whereas now we've got a CEO, we've got a director of football who is clearly going to do the recruitment part of that side instead of Ben Garner, unlike Paul Jewell, who comes in and says, yeah, I'm doing the recruitment, and then later on says, oh no, I didn't do the recruitment. You know, it's that sort of absolute farcical situation that happened under Power that you can't see happening now. And that just shows Clem Morfuni's sort of, I guess, business acumen and his strategy, his long-term strategy that he's wanted to put into the club. So I mean, at the moment, it's going to be difficult to judge at the moment because we're too far behind with recruiting players. I think whatever players we bring in now needs to be taken with a pinch of salt. We're going to have to take some risks on players because clearly we're not going to play enough friendlies to be able to assess them. So there's going to be some shit signings that we're going to make that aren't going to work out. And I think it'll be the January transfer window when people like Ben Chorley will come to their own and bring in the players that we will need to make a go of it.
On the point of the structure and linking back into the previous point about the statement, and it was a comment that I also saw on Twitter, which really made me think that this was a really good, solid start. From the statement, he brought in this structure because he wanted continuality. So when there was a situation potentially where Garner was to leave, whether it be to somewhere higher up or it wasn't quite working, the same process would be in place and a coach could come in knowing the vision of the club. And something else I liked was he brought in someone that he respected in terms of Chorley and said, right, this is your job. This is what you're going to do. And as I understand it, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Chorley suggested, as is what I've looked into, and said Garner would be someone he'd like to work with. Garner himself was brought in 2 assistants that he'd like to work with. So you've kind of got that team building their own team, as opposed to Clem just coming in and saying, right, this is it. He's giving the people that know the responsibility of picking the people they know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is that's what he said like before Power sold the club. He's done that with his companies all over the world. He'll appoint a CEO and he'll leave them to check in every now and then. So he obviously trusts people to get on and do their jobs and pick who they want, like you said, to carry things on.
Oh my God. Sorry, I thought I just saw Brett Pittman. It was Ben Nichols walking to the fridge. Sorry.
Delivery. Sorry.
Before we move on to other matters, Swindon Town, I think we have said it previously, but it's worth reiterating. A big thanks to the likes of Mildenhall, Peacock, all the volunteers who during the awful period has kept things ticking over.
Yeah.
Let's move on then to the situation with regard to season tickets and the race to 6K. I'm not sure how many of you, and no one else will be able to see this until I bring you in, how many of you are going to be season ticket holders this year?
Yeah.
Okay, Ben, I'll bring you in first so that Rich can rest and get his thoughts together. Ben, what's your thoughts as someone who will be renewing in terms of what's come out for season ticket holders?
Yeah, I think it's what came out was expected and it's fair enough. It made a little point in the statement that the last season ticket money had disappeared, not there anymore. So there is refunds offered, minus the iFollow, which I think is fair enough, and that will come out of Clem's own pocket if you wish to take that. The prices reduced a little bit to attract the fans back in. I think we got a good shout of getting the 6K, though I do think it's probably a little unclear. There's a fan that tweeted that he spent 700 quid odd on season tickets last season, and obviously only one iFollow, because there's one iFollow per household. And if it is each season ticket minus your iFollow, you're not really getting much back if you've got kids, which is a little bit harsh. So I don't know if the club can look at it that way, but yeah, for someone like me, it's ideal, really. So yeah, it's good. I want to get back watch football again.
Absolutely. A couple of the highlights, as you've alluded to there, They reduced the prices slightly from what they were. The aim is to get 6,000 season ticket holders. Refunds are available for anyone who's not in a position to take up a renewal, minus the price of the iFollow. And you've alluded to, I think I saw the same tweet as you regarding to season tickets where you've got kids and stuff. They have said that the refund won't be immediately available, but you will have it by the end of Jan, I believe it said, which some people again said, well, they paid out straight away, why can't they have their refund straight away? I appreciate I'm not in the situation to where I'm suffering the need for the refund because I wasn't a season ticket holder previous years anyway. But I know some people have seen it a negative, and the way things have been, you can kind of see their point, but also you can see Clem's point that he is looking to do the refunds as quick as he can as well. Rich, what's your take on the season ticket issue?
Yeah, again with Ben, I think it's fair enough. I think the 6,000 fans. Now, whether or not we'll have 6,000 dedicated fans that'll get a season ticket, I'm not entirely sure. However, though, what I will say, and if the stadiums are allowed to be at full capacity for the start of the season, which obviously one thing we don't know yet, but I guarantee you we will have a full house. And I think that's where I mean, you can get a season ticket all through anytime during the season. So you go to the first game and think, oh, I'm not entirely sure. But people just want their football fix. And again, 6,000 season ticket holders, love to see it. Would be brilliant to get at least a minimum of 6,000 in every game this season. I think away support's going to be a big following again this year. So I'd love to see it. I think it's great. And again, as I say with Ben, I 100% think it's fair enough. So hopefully he can do it. But he's got a lot of work to do. If not this season, definitely next season.
And Christian, you wanted to come in on season tickets as well there.
Yeah, please. I think it's been handled really, really well, and I think the options that have been given are great as well. They're trying not to get you to take your season ticket money back because as you said, it's already left the club. However, the options there if you like. I think that's great. With this target of 6,000, I don't mean to sound pessimistic. It's great to have a target like that, but there's absolutely no way on earth we're going to get that many. We couldn't do that when I think Fitton was offering season tickets for silly money, wasn't he, a few years ago? If we hit that target, we won't. I think we'll get about 3,500, possibly 4,000. But it's a start. It's positive. It's a positive start.
Yeah, I agree with Christian there. I can't see us getting 6,000. I mean, if we got 5,000, that would be great. One of the things that I liked about what Clem said so far is that he hasn't set a target like, say, into the championship in 5 seasons or judge me in 5 years, that sort of thing. So this was the only thing where I was a little bit sort of skeptical. I can't see. Well, we didn't even get 6,000, I think, under Di Canio. So I would be surprised. But it's good to have a target. If we get to 5,000, that would be great, and hopefully we will fill up the county ground as much as possible.
Well, something that doesn't need 5,000 or 6,000 was the sort of SOS symbol that came out saying, was there any volunteers that could help go and I think it's tomorrow, isn't it? Go and help start getting the stadium ready. Various bits of just tidying up, sweeping and stuff. And from what I've seen, I think they're getting more going than they actually expected because of the feel-good factor.
Yeah, I obviously, well, I'm off tomorrow, thankfully. So I would have happily volunteered to help with all of that, but I've not been contacted, so I don't know what the crack is with it. But it's great. It's great to see that everybody's been so positive about it. Obviously, we want our club back. We've got our club back. Basically, but we want it to be in the best nick possible for the start of the season. And I think all supporters are really, really excited about Clem. Obviously, again, it's the interaction with the fan base. They know that the fans love this club. They know they'd do anything for this club. So I think for him to actually ask fans to come help out in the county grounds and get it ready.
Warren, I'm holding along there as well.
Yeah, no, I obviously I'm not going to be in, but it's one of those things a Monday at work, isn't it? But it's great to see that everyone's now. It seems like everyone's going to pull together in the right direction, and everyone's going to make this move forward as quick as possibly as we can, so we can get started, because we are 3 weeks, 4 weeks behind loads of other teams, not with just regards to players and stuff like that, but everything about getting your ground ready, having everything in place. So it's going to be a massive push just to get us ready for it's a kind of a blessing in disguise that we're actually playing away from home first game of the season. So gives us that extra week to build forward for it.
Let's move on to the more recent announcements, and that was the home and away kits. I'll go in order to ask your opinions. So Ned, home and away kit, yes, no, yes.
Yes. As far
Yes,
as I'm concerned, absolutely. I love it. I love a different kit. I've ordered both home and away. I accidentally ordered 2 home kits, so that's going to be going back. But there's no email, and then I checked my junk box, and then there was an email. So yeah, I bought 2 by accident. But yeah, I love them. I said to you on the messenger, the home kit looks like the old Birmingham City Triton kit. I'm not sure if anyone remembers that.
The 6-4 kit.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, I think it's really nice, and we have. I mean, it's nothing like we've had for ages either. So it's nice to have something really different, and also the away kit as well. You know, the last one I can think of was it Burma Castrol days? We had a yellow one. Yeah. So it's new era, new color, away kit. Away strip. New design. Home kit. I think they both look brilliant, and I can't wait to wear them.
Okay, Warren.
Yeah, all over the home kit. I'm still to be decided on the away kit. We said off air, I think this is Clem's way of just getting a bit of Australia into the club, I think, with the away one, sort of the gold and green, or the yellow and green, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I've ordered the red one, ordered my first little kit for my little 2-year-old as well. So, and I like the touch of the old Swindon badge on the pinstripe. I think that looks really smart.
Where are you on it, Craig? Are you supportive of both kits, or does one need to grow on you?
Well, I was, as you guys know in the chat, I was a no to begin with. I'm just not a big fan on pinstripes, to be honest. It's just a matter of taste, each their own and all. But I think it will grow on me. Like Warren, I'm going to buy one for my little 3-year-old girl because she's football mad. She loves red, and I pointed out that kit to her, and she said she wanted it. So I'm going to get her that one. Away kit, absolutely no. Swindon Town shouldn't be wearing yellow in my view. So, but I can see maybe I thought it might have been Lee Power's parting gift to us, making us wear yellow or something. But maybe like Warren was saying, it might be Morfuni's influence, very sort of Australian, similar to the Australian kit. But yeah, I probably will eventually go for the home kit. I like I said to you guys in the chat, I moan about kits being generic and stuff like that. That is something different, to be fair. So I think it will grow on me, and I'll get one going.
We are slowly becoming the Robin Hoods, as we alluded to off camera. Rich, home kit yes, away kit yes.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, both ordered. I'll tell you what, a Puma feeling okay, because I mean, like, flipping out. I mean, it's not a bog standard template. I mean, what is going on?
I have seen a lot of people commenting on the fact that they're not just generic concept kits is what's exciting them.
I absolutely love it, and what a touch to have the old STFC in the stripes on the home kit. That's the one. Yeah, that's the one there. Yeah, I absolutely love that. That's class. And the away kit. A lot of people say Australia. Do you know what? It reminds me of Cameroon. Like the green shorts.
Green.
The green shorts and obviously the yellow shirt. Well, or is it gold? Is it yellow or is it gold?
Well,
Whatever people's choices on it.
Craig's mindset more than anyone will have to say it's green and gold.
Green and gold. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Do you know what? I think both kits look absolutely class, and I thought it was great that they wore it yesterday. The away kit yesterday, it looked absolutely mint. And I must admit, I know was it last season we had a pink goalkeeper top. Looks like we've got another one, but it actually looks pretty decent as well, to be honest.
Christian?
How fickle are Swindon Town fans? I'll tell you something now. Those two kits are the biggest load of shit I have seen in years.
He's got both Cheltenham ones pre-ordered.
Go back to Cheltenham.
Please let me finish. No, I don't need to. I got this, man. This is quality. This is lovely. This is beautiful. Spool, look at that. That's the badge. All of a sudden, because Clem's the owner, everybody likes that fucking diamond badge. No one liked it. All we ever had was people moaning about, oh, I hate this badge. Got nothing to do with the town. All of a sudden, because Clem's put it on a Swindon Town kit, it's the best thing since fucking sliced bread. That away kit, I saw them yesterday in that away kit, and I'm looking around for that lazy fucking twat Luongo, thinking he's going to be playing for us. Both shirts, both kits are absolutely fucking horrendous, and you are all blinkered by the fact that Clem Morfuni has picked them. Thank you.
Christian, you bought the red one of that.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it's on order. I tell you, have you got it?
3 weeks. Mine's come in 3 weeks.
Have you got this one, the white one as well?
No, that was just before.
Well, I'll tell you what, mate. For reassurance, this is absolutely beautiful. It's a lovely fit. It's great. £50 well spent. So I've got no worries about the red one. I've ordered the red one, but it is the chap that makes them is he used to I think he ran Spool or worked for Spool. He's got the official license to reproduce for Spool, and it's exactly to spec. Beautiful shirts.
And he said he's thinking about making the yellow one as well. Is that right?
I haven't seen that bit. I haven't seen about him making the yellow one. The problem is, I see this from two sides because I used to buy and sell football shirts, and I'm just going off track slightly. I've got upstairs what should be probably about £6,000-7,000 worth of football shirts up there. But you see now there's a lot of these reproductions, and a lot of reproductions of shirts that I've got and had, which were worth a lot of money, and it's going to take the value down, like the blue Italian 90 shirt, that kind of thing, which, everybody was wearing this summer. So it's a shame in that way. What they don't want to do is saturate the market with shirts like this. I think they're doing 50 of each at £50, which is fair enough. What I wouldn't like to see is people that have collected shirts for years and years that are worth a lot of money, all of a sudden having that value saturated because they're mass reproducing them.
As serious a point as that is, Christian, if it's okay, I'm going to just divert back onto topic and Ben his thoughts on the Swindon Town current home and away kit.
Don't say you like it, Ben.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, no, I do. I think there's a lesson learnt to be somewhere not to go with generic templates, and fans actually like originality and they like the personal touch. I actually like the diamond badge because it was the first shirt that I ever got and followed Swindon with. So it has personal sentiment to me. So when I saw the close up, the picture of the diamond, my eyes just like, oh, I love it. Straight away, because it had the diamond on it. It's for that reason. The pinstripe we've not had for quite some time, and I think it looks all right. The away one, I agree with Rich. It looks like it's an African nations team. You can see Didier Drogba run about in it. but it's all right. It's quite nice. I think I'd wear that. But yeah, the home one's nice. But it's all personal opinion. You know, Christian hates it. I quite like it.
And that's why I ask each of you what your opinions are of it. For me, I wasn't blown away by the home kit, but I do definitely think it'll be one that grows on me. The away kit, I'm still not convinced I'm going to really like the away kit, if I'm being perfectly honest. Maybe it's just a bit too much for me. But hey, as long as the majority like it and you can all get hold of it that want it, then I'm happy for everyone that's happy with it.
Adam likes it as well. He just said.
Yeah, you can tell by his face that he really likes it. Let's move on to actually assembling a playing squad then, if I can. And the only person to be pictured more this week than Clem is probably Anthony Grant. There's been no official statement, but are we of the belief that he either has or will be re-signing for this season?
I'll be surprised if he doesn't. Same with that.
It'd be a massive mistake if they don't.
I'll be surprised if he doesn't. I think it's an own goal if we don't. I think we need to keep as much as the old team together, just for continuity as we can. If they can get Aiken back, Odemeo back, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. That'd be a good signing. I'm actually encouraged a little bit that they've not panicked and just started signing loads and loads and loads of trialists and free agents because time's running out. It seems to be quite measured. Like, once the embargo's done, they've probably got a few waiting to come in, you know, to step in, because they've not just got a load of free agents.
If I can jump in on one of the points you just made, because I know it's something we discussed on a previous conversation. I know it's something Christian, unsurprisingly, had a particularly strong view of. Ben's just said he wants to keep as much of last season's team together as possible, Christian, but I know you don't necessarily agree with that sentiment.
No, I think with the relegation squad, unfortunately, you have to have a clear out. There are 3 or 4 players that I would probably keep, and the rest would all be ditched. You've got some sick notes in there that have just been festering around the club treatment room for too long. Anthony Grant would be the first person on my list. Don't get me wrong. I love Anthony Grant. There's people calling for Caddis back. No. We saw last year. Caddis's legs have gone. Forget Caddis, please. He's gone. What happened to Lee Camp, by the way? Where's he now?
I don't personally know. I don't know if anyone can Google it quickly. I don't. I know
he would be another one. He would be another one for me. The spine of the side. You probably have something like Lee Camp, Anthony Grant, probably Conroy. Give him one last chance. And maybe if he wasn't such a dickhead, you'd have probably had Pittman up front in this league. But I wouldn't ever welcome him back now. He can go fuck himself. But that would be the spine to start the season if they all had like the right attitude, and then you'd build around them.
Rich, I could see you were doing a lot of nodding and a lot of shaking of your head as Christian was naming different players there. You've got quite strong views on this too.
Oh, the nodding, mate, that was just a hangover kicking in. I'm joking. What was the question again? Sorry.
Being the same thing as Christian, your views on keeping some of the or a large chunk of the
team. So yeah, I agree. Frenchie, I don't know what his role is going to be this season, because he's so injury prone. I don't know whether or not we're going to try and get a load more centre backs in, but it's the same with Conroy as well. He gets injured quite a lot, so I think we need 2 really strong centre halves in as quickly as possible. Anthony Grant would be fantastic if he could come back, because he would absolutely boss League 2. Akin Odemeo. Now, I was reading something this morning that Johnny Layfield, the advertiser, he was interviewing Ben Garner yesterday, and he was saying Scott Marshall actually brought him through the youth ranks at Reading. So that hopefully could be a selling point to AK. And hopefully that might lure him back to Swindon. Now, I'm not sure what his contract situation is, because I think he signed for a year and he's got an option to add on a year. I don't know. Is that right, guys?
I believe that's correct, but his contract's officially expired.
Yeah.
Still there, and that's why he's been training and turning friendlies for elsewhere.
Yeah. Now, I read somewhere as well that he'd actually failed his trial at Portsmouth. Now,
They didn't offer him a contract, did they, at Portsmouth?
Yeah.
No, he was played a couple of friendlies, I believe, and yeah.
That's a bit worrying. I don't know why that. I don't know. Again, that might be Pompey's point of view. They might not rate him entirely.
Well, it wouldn't be Swindon Town without, even in this new dawn and this new era, without seeing old names reappearing. The name that keeps doing the rounds is Ben Gladwin, supposedly. And I'll be honest, the one that I did see and I put in our group was that Louis Thompson was available again. Obviously, as soon as these names come out, then you see, oh, I wonder what a Jose's doing now, and just for a laugh. But what do you guys think? Can you see Gladwin and/or Thompson maybe coming back?
I was under the belief that Louis Thompson was always. I think Norwich was just too big of a push for him. I think because where he came from was Swindon and then moved up, he was still very young. But I think he is a very much a League One, League Two player. And I think he would boss that. I think it'd be absolutely fantastic to have him back.
He wouldn't boss it, mate. He wouldn't boss it. He'd sit there. He sat there in the team that under Cooper that was all right. He's never really excelled. He went on a 2 or 3 game run.
No, that's what I mean. He never really picked up.
You want a bit of energy in there, don't you? You want a bit of something new and not go back. The one player I would go back to, I'll tell you now, because I've said this a lot of times, strikers suit certain clubs, always suit. Nicky Ajose has always suited Swindon Town. I know you joke when you said it, Steve, but he is one striker that I would have back in League Two.
Just on what you said there about Louis Thompson, the one thing I would, or the two things I would throw into that is he is now obviously a few years older and more experienced. And could you not
see better then, shouldn't he?
Could you not see him partnering, say, Anthony Grant, making a good midfield?
I think that's a great partnership.
Yeah,
I think that would work. I like a wise old head and then a youngster with some legs. I disagree with Christian. I thought Louis Thompson, I didn't really think he got a massive chance in the Cooper team solely because of his age, but I remember him busting forward from runs from deep positions in midfield, and I think he would be. And if we could get Louis Thompson, I'd take Louis Thompson over Ben Gladwin all day long. And I think Louis coming back in, if we got Anthony Grant as well, I think it's a partnership that could be brilliant in the centre of midfield. A bit of grit, and then you've got that youngster pushing forward and getting further on as well.
Ned, you were going to say something there as well.
Well, I think Louis Thompson would be ideal to come back, if I'm completely honest. But there's, I'm just not. Oh God, it sounds really bad because obviously I've had a bit of a moment with Anthony Grant in the past, as I've said off camera before. But I don't know. I'm not convinced on Anthony Grant. I guess it would all depend on, the allocation on wages, because I can't imagine it would be cheap to bring back. And, let's be honest, his legs started to go last season. But, at the same time, we're playing League Two this time. But I've got to be honest, the best news so far, in my opinion, by a country mile, is the fact that we've still got Payne. I mean, because obviously he had that release clause in his contract with us going down, but that hasn't been activated yet. And my God, he is going to absolutely own League Two next year with him in the team. Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, him, you know, maybe you know, with you know, Louis Thompson behind would be absolutely sensational. I'm just not convinced about having Anthony Grant back. I'm not massively convinced. I mean, if it was him 2 years ago, 100%, yeah, but I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough.
But you gotta remember, he was another one that was pretty much Sheridanized, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think, you know,
let's-
I agree
Sorry,
with.
Matt. I know you've all got a lot you want to say, but I know that Ben, bless him, has been waiting very patiently to have his say. So I'll give Ben his chance. And just to throw into the mix, Ben, one of the big issues that Louis had at Norwich, I believe, is he's picked up quite a few injuries.
That I was going to say. We're all saying we all want Louis back, but are we going to get the Louis Thompson of season 14-15, which is about 6-7 years ago? Is he going to be the same sort of player? Because that player was an impact player. I remember him scoring last-minute goals against Sheffield United, and you know, great wins and everything. I remember him getting quite involved with his brother, celebrating in front of the town. And I don't know if he's that player anymore. The same with Ben Gladwin. Ben Gladwin is not the same player from season 14-15 towards the end of the season. He took the piss out of us at the end game for MK Dons, but everyone was. So I don't know. I don't know what he's been like when he's been on loan to other clubs. I don't know how well he's done. I know he's been injured a lot. So no, I'm not so overly get Louis back as everyone else, because I don't think he's actually played that much over the last 6 years. So
I don't think he has, Ben.
Yeah, he's,
that's why I'm very touchy about it. I'm not overly keen on
it would be a good idea getting in Louis Thompson. He's actually made 45 appearances in the last 5 seasons.
That's shocking.
That tells you a lot. You know, he made 17 last season. I'm Stato here, by the way. He made 17 last season with MK Dons, and but he's made, out of those 45 appearances, 8 of those were in the Football League Trophy as well. So it's like we're not going to get the same player. I liked him when he was with us first time round, but also he's at Norwich. He must be on about 10 grand a week. He's probably looking at a League One club, I'd imagine, at the very least. So,
Sorry, carry on.
He's conference standard. He is conference standard.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's mate, possibly. And the same.
I think it's one of those things where form is temporary, class is permanent. If he has had 1 or 2 serious injuries in the time, that will almost certainly affect form. But he was never conference standard when he was here. He was always better than conference standard, and he's not going to have regressed his footballing ability. You know, he's not even reached his ages yet, in my opinion, anyway. But let's talk about a few other players. Has anyone had their chance to cast their eye over a few trialists? Who stood out?
Jordan, centre back, awesome. I would have him in a heartbeat for sure. I mean, because then you look at it. If we keep Odemayo, then you've got Jordan, Conroy, Frenchie, and one more. So anyway, that's 4 centre backs. So if we, as far as I'm concerned, bring in Jordan, that's it. We're done for centre back.
I've seen a lot of people talking about Bruno as well.
Well, he's gone, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's been released.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, he put a tweet out, didn't he?
It's a shame.
I saw him against Hungerford. I thought he was all right.
Yeah.
With all due respect, it was against Hungerford.
Yeah, true. And do you know what? I think it would have been a huge step up for him as well, considering where he was playing before. I can't remember where.
But again, I always try and balance this out. If you throw in something overly positive, I'll find a negative, and vice versa. Let's not forget that a certain Charlie Austin came from Paul.
No, I'm not saying that. But you know, I think given the current situation we're in, are we in the position to be taking risks at this point? I think anything we do is, if we're getting anything from non-league, And it's
I
not
think
even.
we are in a position
It's
to
not
take
even-
risks, to be honest with you.
It's not even non-league either. Well, it is non-league, but it is a few divisions down as well, isn't he? Like 9th or 10th tier.
Mm.
That's a huge step. That's a
Big
huge
gamble. Big gamble.
Is
Well,
there any other of the
Is it a
trial?
big gamble? Well, let's think about it logically. Is it a big gamble? Because he's not going to be on big wages. And he's not going to be on number one striker. So to have him in the squad, I don't think that would be a big thing. If he was coming in on big wages and to be our number 9, then it would be a massive gamble. But I think to have someone who's happy to play off the bench, is it a gamble? I don't know.
I'm not sure how old he is either.
Early 20s, and he's 23, 24.
Is it 20?
I think. What about any of the other trialists? Anyone?
McCurdy.
Yes, a lot of people have been talking about him.
Apparently, he's got an attitude issue.
Mm.
But I don't know. I don't have any issues with that.
No.
I mean, given some of the strikers we've had in the bloody past, no Ranger.
The thing I would say on that is, of all the places in the team, you expect the attackers to perhaps have that bit more swagger and arrogance, and also that there's perhaps 1 or 2 members of the fan chat panel who when I was negotiating terms, I was told they might have an attitude, but I took a chance on them as well. Yeah, so do we think he will sign though? What's the gut feel then?
Oh, McCurdy.
Yeah.
Well, we're taking a longer look at him at the moment, so
Yeah.
it seems that Garner's keen on him. I think we're at a case where beggars can't be choosers at the moment. We're running out of time. We haven't got enough games to properly assess these players. So, some of them, like I was saying earlier, some of them are going to be a risk. And if it's going to be that McCurdy, with the amount of games he's played so far, hopefully we'll have a fair idea of whether he could be good enough for us or not. He's got a bit of experience from Port Vale and Carlisle. So,
Carlisle really rated him as well, didn't they?
Oh, did they? I'm not too. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and obviously, I don't think we're going to be having Pittman, which, to be honest, I don't think is a big loss anyway.
Seems like they've took their time a bit with this McCurdy because they've dug a bit deeper into his. I read a Garner interview today. Yeah. They said they were looking into his attitude and speaking to other clubs that he played for and getting a bit of an idea from that. Whether that means anything, I don't know, but.
I mean, obviously you've got those, but from a football perspective, I mean, I saw his highlights against Supermarine. Bloody hell, he's silky, I tell you.
Yeah, but you need to build a dressing room. You need to build a dressing room around good attitude. Steve Cottrell was always very good in these bottom 2 divisions, and that's why he's had a lot of success. He's taken quite a few clubs up from leagues 1 and 2. By making sure the dressing room is right, and I think for too long now we've had a dressing room full of dossers, and we need to have the people in there with the right attitude that are going to lift others, and not toxicity. It just breeds so fast. We don't need that. Let's build this great, harmonious, encouraging dressing room. And if he's not that person, fucking don't sign him.
Yeah, get him.
Yeah.
That's very, very, very valid. Ned, if I may, before we come on to the final question, this is obviously the first proper panel chat we've had in a while. We've done a bit of summer content recently with various games, and you pointed out at the start that there was perhaps a slight bit of administration that had been overlooked. So please.
Oh, right, yeah. I especially wanted to say, this very sad situation of Mike Spearman passing away recently. Absolute. I mean, to be fair, it was not only was he, a chairman, not only was he an honorary chairman as well. He's been a super fan. He's goes to all home games, most away games. My mum was on the shadow board many years ago, and she loved him as well. Yeah, I mean, a real nice, down to earth, true Swindon fan. Just wanted to say, you know, as a Swindon fan, we're going to miss him, and rest in peace, big man.
Yeah.
Second that.
Yeah, I think that those thoughts and very well presented sort of little monologue you did there, Ned, comes from all members of this panel and all Swindon Town fans wherever they are. I can finish with a question, gentlemen, and it's the one I alluded to earlier in the conversation.
10 inches.
As we sit here now, and there will be a show.
Christian.
Close to the time. But as we sit here now, what resembles success this season? I'll go in reverse order how you appear on my screen. So Ben, as we sit here now, what resembles success?
Sustainability and the spine to look up to actually pushing towards a good season next season, after this season, to actually push for promotion. I think just having the foundations there, keep out of trouble, be a great season, and then on next year.
So for you then, you'd be quite happy with sort of what's technically classed as mid-table mediocrity, not going up, not going down, but as long as you can see a distinct style of play, and we're not suffering because of the situation we're in at the moment with having no squad, you'll be quite content.
2 weeks to the season starts, and we've got 8 registered players, and half of them are injury prone. We've got an owner which is ambitious. We've got a plan. We've got, I don't think we'll get relegated, because I think by May there'll be at least 2 clubs in worse states than we are financially and squad wise, because I think we may be struggling till January, but I think after January, I think players will be purchased to guarantee our survival. And I think we'll be all right. Even if we finish 15th, I think that is success, because then we've closed the door on Lee Power. We've got rid of those skeletons. The only thing that scares me are the 2 FA charges. We've not mentioned them yet, hanging over us, and the possible punishment. It's FA charges, so unlikely points deduction, but it's still not impossible. That worries me, but that's the only thing. I think we'll be all right this season. I think there'll be a few hairy moments, but I think we'll be all right.
I know you started telling us, Christian, but again, as we sit here right now, what resembles success this season for you?
Yeah, great point, Ben, by the way, with the points deduction. I don't think we've really thought about that yet. Let's say that there's not going to be a points deduction. And to me, success is 7th place or above, so playoffs or above, regardless of the outcome. Acceptable is mid-table. Disaster is going down, absolute disaster, and then anything between mid-table and the bottom 2, bit disappointing.
Okay, fair enough reflection there. Rich?
Yeah, so I think just echoing what Christian just said there, yeah, I think all of that is acceptable. But I think from another standpoint is getting our fan base back into the grounds, getting the team through the games week in, week out, and I think that in itself is a success. And I'd love our fan base just to cheer the team on week in, week out. We've had a horrible 18 months with this pandemic, and I think one of the main things, and it's not just for Swindon either, I think every team needs it too. So I know I'm steering a little bit away, but I think, as I say, I think that's a success in itself.
Craig, what's a success for you? Is it purely on the pitch, or are you looking off the pitch as well?
Well, I mean, off the pitch, it's looking quite successful already. We're starting off, and I've every confidence that off the pitch things will be okay. by the end of the season. When it comes to success on the pitch, any normal season, I would be saying, if we're in League Two, promotion. The last time we were in League Two, the first 2 seasons weren't successful because we didn't get promoted. But as we were saying, this isn't a normal season, so it's sort of similar to what Christian was saying there. But as long as we finish 22nd or above, that's a success for me. And going back to what Ben was saying about, there's 2 teams worse than us. Remember last season we were saying there's at least 4 teams that are worse than us, and that didn't turn out too good. No team is too good to go down in League Two. We've seen that time and time again. So, and with the start we've had, potential points deduction, as long as we finish 22nd and stay in that league, I'll be happy, and that will be success for me.
Warren?
Yeah, I'm with what Craig just said there. Staying in the league is just massive. Going slightly to what Ben was saying as well, just actually to watch us play a decent style of football. Because after watching us under Sheridan, it was just awful, wasn't it? You know what I mean? Just boring football. There was no, and it seems like they've got this philosophy in place. And with this Garner, he likes to play good attacking football, getting the ball on the ground, keeping the ball, and just looking forward to us actually playing some football. Whether we've got the players to do that, and they might have to adapt in certain situations just to make sure we stay in the league. Obviously, definitely. But yeah, just looking forward to us playing a decent style of football. And as long as we stay in the league, I see that as a success this season.
And last, but by certainly no means least, Ned?
I absolutely echo what Warren just said, but I think success for us this season has already happened. We got the old knobhead out, so that's the absolute best thing that can possibly happen to us this season. So, for me, the success has already taken place, but I would feel incredibly uncomfortable if we finished 20th because, like Ben said, with the points deductions, I don't, as it's been said, it's with the FA as opposed to the EFL, but I still just would feel incredibly uncomfortable, coming towards, halfway through the season and we're languishing near the bottom. I wouldn't think, we'll be fine because whoever is ultimately not going to get many points. But, we need at least a 20-point cushion over who finishes second from bottom. That's the aim, is to be, a dramatic amount of points higher than second from bottom.
And that's a worry because we've got 8 registered players and half of them are sick notes. So that's of course going to be a worry, because I think January we can spend big, but that also, again, it all depends on the court and
if the embargo is lifted as well.
So we're not out of the woods yet. Not until
we're just getting started regarding financially. So
I'm just making a little note to self that when doing a happier conversation panel, don't end with Ned.
I'm finished yet.
Christian?
Yeah.
You had your hand up. There was a point that either Ned or Warren made that you wanted to jump in on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, just be a little bit careful about what you wish for. I think it was Warren when he said about he wanted to see the nice attacking, passing football and everything, and not what Sheridan was doing. Totally agree with that. But let's not forget the Luke Williams days when we were seeing that and stupid fucking mistakes at the back all the time.
That was got to be passing football. That was suicide.
Passing football, but
I didn't get any of it.
You've got to have the right mix, and I don't want to. Cheltenham.
He got so excited when he just said, "Could we make out?" It was just noises.
Cheltenham won League Two by being able to throw the ball longer than anyone else. and having some big ugly bastard who can go bang and header it in. It weren't pretty, but you know, they're in League One, we're in League Two.
No, I agree. Fair point. I personally, for me, I like us to play good football, and
Yes, mate,
whether
I
that's
agree with you, mate. I agree. I do agree with you, Warren. You know, watching Aussie's teams and our dealers team, totally agree with you, mate. It was beautiful to watch. But I'm just that little bit of cautiousness around fanny assing around at the back. We don't want to see that again.
yeah, totally agree.
And on that happy agreement between Christian and Warren, we're going to call it there unless anyone has any other business they want to throw in at this stage. No? In which case...
I'll keep it running just so we can keep Rich on for another half hour.
I'm going to thank each and every one of you who has been watching and continues to watch or listen if it's the podcast version. Thank you guys once again for joining me. And we've still got more stuff planned between now and the start of the season. A few surprises, a few more games, and hopefully a load more of these conversations where the undertone, at least until Ned gets involved, is a lot more positive. But until next time, good night.
Night all.
Bye.